प्रतनासयूते सहस्कृत पुरुषचन्द्रं यजतं विश्वधायसं दमूनसं गृहपतिं वरेण्यं त्वामग्ने अतिथिं पूर्व्यं विशः शुचिष्केशं गृहपतिं निषेदिरे बृहत्केतुं पुरूरूपं घनस्फृतं सुशर्माणं स्ववसं जरद्विषम् त्वामग्ने मानुषीरीरते विशोहोत्राविदं विविचिमिरत्नधातमं गुहासन्तं सुभगविश्वदर्शतं त्वेष्वनसं सुजयं घृतश्रियम्.
Words of Sri Aurobindo from the book The Mother, from the collective works of Sri Aurobindo, volume 32, page 475. Question: why am I suffering? Why am I so far from the Mother? How can I get over this? For the Sri Aurobindo says, reject the suffering. Reject every vital moment that would take you away from the Mother. Cling close to her, always with your inner being, without any demand or question, in perfect faith. Let me repeat this. Sri Aurobindo says, reject the suffering. Reject every vital moment that would take you away from the Mother. Cling close to the Divine Mother, always with your inner being, without any demand or question, in perfect faith. Sri Aurobindo says there are always in a sadhak two sides of the nature, one that wants the divine and the other that wants only its own way and will and expects the divine to satisfy it. When you were in the first, the Mother was always close to you and you were happy. When you indulged in the second, then all went wrong. Your mistake recently has been to indulge the second part too much, but you can always recover the constant closeness of the Divine Mother in your inner being and happiness and progress in the sadhana. But to do so, says Sri Aurobindo, but to do so, you must make it a point to give your love without asking for anything at all except the inner nearness, for unless you do that very strongly, it is difficult for you to get rid of the other tendency and change the demanding vital part in you. Question: we find that by meeting the Mother or being in her presence, we come out of the depression and experience the ecstasy of joy. Does this take place by a psychic meeting or a meeting on the inner vital level? For the Sri Aurobindo says it depends. It depends on whether it comes by drawing the vital force from her or simply by the joy of seeing her or by receiving something from her. In the two later cases, it is usually psychic or psychic vital. In the former, it is the vital. Next subtopic, devotion or bhakti for the Mother. Question: when the Mother looked at me this evening from the terrace, I felt a deep upsurge of devotion towards her. It is this I have hungered for, and so long as I feel this bhakti, I feel as though I have little else to desire. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that the desire for bhakti is not a desire at all. So I trust I may not make any bargain by desiring it, as bhakti is of the essence of the divine. To ask for it must be legitimate? No. For the Sri Aurobindo says the desire for the divine or the bhakti for the divine, one desire which can free one from all the others. At the core, it is not a desire but an aspiration. A soul need the breath of existence of the innermost being, and as such it cannot be counted among desires. Question: how can I have pure bhakti for the mother? Sri Aurobindo says pure worship, adoration, love for the divine without any claim or demand is what is called Shuddha Bhakti. From which part does it manifest is the next question. Sri Aurobindo says from the psychic. Question: how can I unravel the confusion I feel between self, mind, vital and physical, and how to distinguish them? Sri Aurobindo says one has to separate oneself in thought from mind and vital and body and look at these as one, as not oneself, but only outer instruments or movements of nature. In the end, one begins to be aware of something behind them, which is the real self, the true being. Question: is psychic bhakti perfect devotion? Sri Aurobindo says it is the basis of perfect devotion. Question: how can I develop psychic bhakti? Sri Aurobindo says sincere aspiration. Question: what is the character of psychic bhakti, mental bhakti and vital bhakti for the mother? How to recognize them? Sri Aurobindo says the psychic is made up of love and self-giving without demand, the vital of the will to be possessed by the mother and serve her, the mental of the faith and unquestioning acceptance of all that the mother says, is or does. These, however, are outward signs. It is in the inner character, quite recognizable, but not to be put into words, that they differ. Question: is there no place for mental and vital devotion in this yoga? For this, Sri Aurobindo says, who says there is not? So long as it is real devotion, all bhakti has its place. Sri Aurobindo says it is always a mistake to attach importance to what others say. It is enough to have true devotion and the right attitude towards the mother. You need have no apprehension of this kind at all. Question: how to get pure and complete devotion? Sri Aurobindo says get quiet first. Then from the quietude aspire, open yourself quietly and sincerely to the mother. Question: mother, in spite of my 1003 imperfections, this one sense remains in me, that you are my mother, that I am born from your heart. It is the only truth I seem to have realized in all these 6 years, but I thank you very much that I have been enabled to feel this as much at least. For this, Sri Aurobindo says it's an excellent foundation for the other truths that are come, for they all result from it. Question: my meetings with the mother, instead of being occasions for giving and receiving love, joy and happiness, bring fear. There must be something wrong in my nature. Sri Aurobindo says it is the old vital with its ego which comes up again and again. It refuses to follow the higher being and be as the true bhakta, or who ask nothing and are content with all that the mother does or does not do, because whatever she does must be good, since she is the mother. You must impose the truth on this vital part. Sri Aurobindo says, do not allow mental anxiety to harass you. Wait on the working of the mother's force, which will open the lotus of the heart in you. In the light from above, devotion will blossom in you. Next subtopic: consecration to the Divine Mother. Question: sometimes when I sit in meditation, I say Ma, 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 then everything becomes quiet and I feel great peace inside and outside me. Even in the atmosphere around me, I hear Ma, Ma, Ma. Is this real or is it just only echoes? Sri Aurobindo says, the atmosphere you carry around you is a part of your consciousness as much as the rest that you feel inside you. When you repeat the name of the mother, it begins to echo in all your consciousness, outside as well as inside you. What you experience, therefore, is quite true and is a good experience. Question: when I asked what attitude I should hold during the silence of the mind, you replied consecration. Could you please explain this to me in a wider sense? For this, Sri Aurobindo says it means the devoting of all that comes to you, all your experiences and progress to the Divine Mother. Question: what should I do to keep the silence alert and constant while reading, talking, and working? Sri Aurobindo says the same thing. Do all with a quiet mind, not throwing yourself out in what you do, but seeing quietly what is done and what happens. These are the words of our Lord Sri Aurobindo.